Tennessee's season in basketball comes to an end this weekend, unfortunately. Um, it's been an interesting season, I guess, to say the least. There with that, and kind of want to touch a little bit on kind of how their season went, and then kind of how it ended, and just kind of walk through that and walking through the tournament there. Because I felt like, honestly, man, I think that Tennessee had a rocky season overall. I
Yeah.
think it was very inconsistent. They had a lot of ups and downs. They beat some couple good teams. They lost to some good teams. They lost some close games, games
Yeah.
that I'm talking right there with it to the end, man. Had chances to win some of these bigger games, and um, to kind of let them slip away. And a lot of that was that inconsistency that kind of seen throughout. Lost it to Vanderbilt this year, and I know we kind of mentioned talking in general with each other. There was a stat line we seen in baseball, and I know they just swept Tennessee recently. Vanderbilt beat them in football, of course, this year. Basketball, I mean, this year is belonging to Nashville, man. They've like kudos to them on that. But like I said, in basketball, man, it's been a lot of the inconsistency, I think, and that's something that's really hurt Tennessee throughout the season. What do you think as far as the season reflection on how Tennessee did this year?
Yeah, as far as a team, uh, fourth in the SEC. I mean, you had a lot of good teams coming out of the SEC this year, defending national champions, and Florida coming out of
Yep.
the SEC. So to be in that top five of the SEC, I think is still a good accomplishment.
Yep.
25-12, like you said, looking up and down their schedule that they had this season. I mean, lost a lot of close games. I mean, Syracuse to mention, 2-point game. Um, Looking on down the list here, another 2-point loss to Kentucky, another 3-point loss to Kentucky,
Yep.
and then, like you said, losing to Vanderbilt twice during the season was very, very disappointing. They had our number this year across the board, like you said.
Yep.
But you know, at the same time, when you look at the close games that we lost, we did also find ways to win tight games. Overtime win against Georgia, two overtime win against Texas A&M, and then you beat a lot of the teams that you were supposed to beat as well. And
Yep.
obviously, to have any success in any sport, you have to do that. So
For sure.
I think the best word, and I'm sure we're going to dive into this, Mike, but I think the best word to use when describing Tennessee's basketball season this year is just maybe a little bit of overachieving, kind of flying under the radar, so to speak, and accomplishing a little bit more than maybe what a lot of people expected them to. Um, but I think that's a testament to the coaching and the culture there that Rick Barnes has built. And Mike and I don't claim to be huge basketball fans, but I mean, when Tennessee basketball does come around, especially when we make the tournament, obviously we do pay attention. And tough way to go out, going out in the Elite Eight there. But I think over and above all, you could chalk this season up as a success. I think nothing crazy, but
Yep.
nice, consistent year in and year out, making the
Yep.
tournament, all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And I think at the very start of the season, it might have like had our hopes up for a better season itself just during the season. Um,
Right.
and because of the past years, and they've been good in basketball, and so that expectation's already kind of there. But then,
Yeah.
like you said, then it's almost like it lowered, and then it was like, okay, well then they have the tournament. I think definitely exceeded expectations. I real quick on the season, one thing that did hurt was that we mentioned those two losses to Kentucky. Those
Yeah.
were games that we had big leads, and that's tough losing to Kentucky, especially when you have big leads. Um, but the tournament, man, I enjoyed watching the tournament. I really enjoyed them in the tournament. I thought they played, um, minus this last game in the Elite Eight, and we'll
Yeah.
touch on that for sure. But um, I thought they had a really good run, man. I had them going out against Virginia. I ain't even gonna lie. When I
Yeah.
filled out the bracket, I had them that second round going out against Virginia. I was a little nervous even about Miami, Ohio. Not not so much that I didn't think they were better. I felt like Miami, Ohio. I know they were a one-loss team, but I knew their record was very weak, or their schedule was very weak in the
Right.
division they play in. So um, I did kind of expect Tennessee to win, and that I mean that game they won good. Um, they really impressed me when they beat Virginia. Um,
Yeah.
and just man, like I said, the way that they with in Iowa State, that was a team that beat Kentucky the uh, prior round, and um, Tennessee went in and handled that game. Man, they looked physically dominant over Iowa State, and
Yeah.
now granted, we got some help from the fact that Iowa State has a bunch of Shaqs up there shooting three free throws, but hey, it is what it is. We'll take it. But I really did. I enjoyed watching them over this tournament, and I have to say, agree with you in saying it was successful overall with the season. It's the third
Yep.
straight year they got to the Elite Eight. Um,
Yep.
I know as Tennessee fans, it's frustrating. Um, we want to see them get past that. And they've never been to the Final Four. I think as a basketball program, and I think Rick Barnes is an excellent coach,
Oh yeah.
and I do. I think he's an excellent coach. I don't think there's any reason to want him not want him. I'd like to see him be able to get over that hump and get into the Final Four with them.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of where the basketball program's at. It's
Yep.
people are wanting that now. Um,
Yeah.
but this
Yeah.
year, I'll be honest with you, I was disappointed in how bad we got beat by Michigan, but
Right.
I didn't expect us to beat Michigan. So I wasn't so disappointed that we did. I when it was like third straight year in the Elite Eight. Could this year be the year they get past it? I didn't expect to get past the Elite Eight again. Um,
Yeah.
but man, Michigan's good. Michigan's good at basketball.
Yeah. Yeah. Michigan looked dominant, man. It
Yeah,
wasn't very long into the game that it was very apparent that we were outmatched from a physicality
yeah,
standpoint, from a size standpoint.
yeah,
It looked like Michigan really had it all figured out. Touching on Rick Barnes, Mike, a lot of things kind of ring true when you talk about teams and success and coaches and stuff at Tennessee. I mean, you look at what Josh Heupel's done in football, and a
mhm,
couple slip ups here and there, and you got people calling for his job saying he might not be the right fit. People are
yeah,
going to do the same thing with Rick Barnes, saying he can only make it so far in the tournament, and then
yeah,
he chokes or whatever the case may be. But you have to realize, since Rick Barnes has been at Tennessee, this is his 11th season as the Tennessee's head coach. He's got a 68% win percentage. 68% winning
yeah,
games is good no matter what you do. I think 257 and 121 is his overall record in 11
yeah,
seasons. So, I mean, well above 500, creeping into that 70%
yeah,
wins. He's second all time on the wins list for Tennessee men's basketball. So, I mean, you're talking
yeah,
about someone that is obviously accomplishing things, obviously doing the right things, established a
yeah,
very strong culture. Seems like year in and year out, we lose these incredible players, but somehow we recruit really good
yeah,
players. It seems like now, even in the transfer portal era, we're still reeling in good players. So definitely, definitely no grounds to stand on if you're talking about
yeah,
fire and Rick Barnes,
yeah,
because you're going to be hard pressed to find someone better than him to replace him with if you try to go down that road for sure.
yeah. I agree, man. And yeah, I was thinking when he's talking about this and the records and stuff and where they're at, and then obviously people wanting them to get past that point. Do you think?
Yeah,
Do you think Tennessee's basketball program and their football program are almost in similar situations? Where the basketball program's been better longer,
right.
than the
Yep.
football program has here recently, but um, they've had football has had more recent success, I guess, and than the basketball has kind of been doing that for a little while.
Yeah.
But do you think that I guess they might be in similar situations right now to where all right, we've been, basketball team is consistently making the tournament. We've got to the Elite Eight three times. Football program had a great season to where if the playoffs would have been around then, they would have been in it. Then they made the playoffs one year, and like now it's like we're waiting for that next step up from each of them. You feel like they might be in a little bit similar situations in that?
Yeah, I completely agree, man. And it just kind of goes back to we've talked about this on the podcast multiple times. At a certain point, fans do get impatient. It's
Yeah,
easy to look around the rest of college football or college basketball and see teams find success and get over that hump
yeah,
and win national championships, win the tournament, all that good stuff.
yeah.
And as a program that I'm gonna say flirts with success, which is what it feels like Tennessee does. We just
It
kind
does
of
feel like
flirt
it.
with it a
Yeah,
little bit. We text success from time to time, and they text us
yeah,
back here and there, but
yeah,
they leave us on red quite a bit.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's kind of a corny analogy, but you are right though,
No,
Mike. I
that's
mean,
true though.
I think both the football and basketball programs have. I don't want to say reach their plateaus in success because obviously as a fan we continue to root, we continue to cheer and hope that they get over that
Yeah,
hump. But you're right. It's almost like we both basketball and football both kind of just did this
yeah,
right here, and it's like we
yeah,
can't break that barrier.
yeah,
But I mean,
yeah,
like I said, not all schools are even finding that type of success,
yeah,
especially on a consistent basis. So
yeah,
you've got to take the good with the bad. I mean,
yeah,
maybe one day we'll see both the football and basketball programs get over that hump.
yeah. Maybe, man, and I hope so. And I do think the basketball program is a little bit ahead. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
the
one
Elite
hundred
Eight's a
percent.
big. That's that's like consistently getting to the playoffs or something. With or
Right,
close to it. And Tennessee's men's basketball has won the SEC tournament in
right.
recent years, and like so that's something in, totally different. With the football team on that, but um, I just think with where they're at right now, it's like they're ready to take a step up, and I think that's what
Yep,
everybody's kind of waiting on for it. And with basketball, I think that I'm a little bit more almost confident that they might have an opportunity to do a little better just because how recruiting's works in basketball. I feel like we get a little bit better overall, recruiting wise there in that aspect. But yeah, it's interesting to think about. You know, like I said, it was a hard way to lose this year.
yeah,
They definitely exceeded my expectations in the tournament. I just wish we could have played a little bit better with Michigan. It's just Michigan was so dominant over us early
oh
on,
yeah,
and when it was even when Tennessee was up a little bit there in the first part of the game, I was a little nervous thinking to myself, just Michigan wasn't really hitting yet, and I was like, man, these guys just look like a more dominant team. And I
yeah,
was just afraid when that run, and then of course the run happened. They went on 11-0 run like
yeah,
that, and then it continued. Man, they went on a crazy run in the half, and it was over from that point. I mean, it really was. Tennessee didn't play
yeah,
well. Physicality is their big thing. And
right,
I'm not going to complain about refs. I think that's we lost 95-62. I'm obviously not complaining about refs. Um, but both ways in this, the refs weren't allowing a lot of physicality either way. And so that Tennessee already was playing bad. They don't have a great offensive team overall, so they rely on really tough physical defense. So then that makes it even harder on what seemed to be just an impossible task for them.
yeah,
Honestly, with Michigan and the way Michigan was, once Michigan started, man, it was unreal. Um, so there's not a
yeah,
lot you can really do in that case. I feel like for them and there, but overall, I'll just say with Tennessee, I'm happy with the season.
yeah.
Overall with that. Um,
Yeah, I agree, man. Overall, happy with it. Just going to continue to hopefully find success, and maybe get over that hump, make it to that Final Four. It'll definitely be exciting times when the Rocky Top when that happens. I'm not going to say if it
yeah,
happens. I'm going to say when it happens because um, you've got to get over it at some point. You know what I mean?
yeah, you do. No, you're right, man. Um, you'd like to think maybe next year we can make a fourth Elite Eight and actually get our first Final Four.
Yeah,
So,
one hundred
pretty cool.
percent. But I mean, aside from Tennessee's exit in the Elite Eight, Mike, the tournament as a whole, although I haven't watched every single game or
Mhm.
anything like that by any means, but every time around this time of year, it does get exciting.
Yep.
I think we both said this when we did the collab episode with bench points that people won't watch a single college basketball game all year long, but when March rolls
Yep.
around, everybody's tuned in, everybody's paying attention, everybody's filling out the bracket. So there is
Yep.
something special and something magical about this time of year.
Yeah.
Um, the first round, and one of the biggest reasons why I watch college basketball and tune in during this time of year is for those upsets.
Oh
Everybody
yeah.
loves and lives to see those upsets, and I feel like the first round, Mike, and you can speak on this and talk about what you think. I think the first round really did not disappoint. I mean, it delivered several
Yeah.
big time, big time upsets, just like it always does. You know what I mean? Just like it always
Yep.
does.
Oh yeah, man. For sure. And we can name our biggest ones if we want. One of mine, this just to add to that is, dude, there's always, and I think I mentioned this to you about like when I'm, you even think about this when I'm picking each year too. There's always a 12 and a 5 seed upset. It just seems to always happen, man, and it did. And for my, I
Yep.
think one of my biggest upsets was High Point beating Wisconsin.
Yeah, that
Um,
was crazy.
12 and 5 seed, man, 83-82, beat Wisconsin. And there's some more we'll definitely mention, but I just want to mention that one specifically because it was a 12 and 5 seed. Seems to happen every tournament. And dude, High Point, beat Wisconsin. I just thought that was wild. And
Yeah,
I'm sure some basketball fans out there that would hate on me for not knowing, but I didn't know who High Point was, to be
that's
honest
fair.
with you. So, um, and there's always a team like that, man, that comes out of nowhere and gets a win. And um,
100%.
they honestly played pretty well with Arkansas. It was 94-88. So they did go out, the second round, but they got the upset in the first round and they played pretty well in the second. They definitely belonged in the tournament. So
Yeah.
that's probably who I'd say was the biggest for me, upset wise.
Yeah. Yeah. In that first round, I would probably, I think it was pretty. Now, I know that this is a good team, and, a lot of people may not look at this as an upset just because of how good of a team they are. But when VCU beat North Carolina, I
Yeah,
definitely thought that that was a major upset because obviously the rich tradition that North Carolina has, and
yeah,
you know, they're. I feel like North Carolina is one of those teams that even if they don't have the best season, they're still
yeah,
expected to make a decent tournament run.
yep,
So watching them get beat out in that first round, and not even have an opportunity to get anywhere in the tournament,
yeah,
was very wild, man, very wild. And then, of course, how could you not say the number one team in the SEC, Florida?
yeah,
Everybody talked about how they were good and had great players and all that good stuff. And anytime you're a champion, you've got the biggest target on your back, a defending
yeah,
champion. You've got the biggest target on your back, and they went out quickly in the first round. So,
yeah. Well, they went out the second round. They played
oh, true. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
Prairie View A&M on that first one. That one they beat them 114-55. So I thought they were gonna like cruise, man. But then Iowa,
Yeah.
beating them in that second round. That's an upset though, man. I mean, in that 9 seed Iowa team, beating
Yeah.
them there. That's definitely a big one. Like you said too about North Carolina, I think the name a lot really puts on. But that's an 11 and a 6, still an
Right.
upset. But the name just adds to that, man. It's North Carolina going out in the first round.
Yeah.
And VCU came back on them to get that win.
Yeah.
So this tournament's been filled, man, with just really good games too, upsets, very close games, buzzer beaters. I mean, it's everything you could want in a tournament, and that's one thing I can say. It's been a great tournament so far. Um, and speaking of buzzer beaters too, man, uh, Duke Duke just went down the Yukon.
Oh yeah.
73-72. Man, they had like I think it was 17-point lead maybe at one point.
Yep.
Duke had it, man, and they just, I mean, they choked, man. It was,
Oh yeah,
And the last play, if you seen that, was crazy, dude. You know, they
yeah, it
I,
was wild, man.
you gotta. I know it was, you know, just the pressure moment. I think got some, but you know, you hang on to the ball right there, they're probably going to foul you. There's not
Right.
much time left. It's um, you're up by two, and then for them to hit the three they did, I mean, it was just chaos, and it just went right UConn's way there. And again, that's just the tournament, man, right there. That sums it up for me right there.
Yep.
How it's been so far. Um, and of course, we're getting towards the end of it, but we do have the final four.
Right.
Um, you know, you got UConn and Illinois, and then you got Arizona and Michigan playing. Any thoughts, man, on who you think might win this thing, or who's going to come out on
Yeah.
top in these games?
Yeah. So to kind of double back on the Duke game real quick,
Yeah, my bad. I
obviously
didn't even
by
let you talk about it.
no, no, you're fine. I just think I think it's important to mention that by no means whatsoever is that an upset. I think I said it before we started recording. There's
Mhm.
probably a lot of people that are upset because
Mhm.
most people that I talked to and a lot of brackets that I saw get filled out had Duke win it all. I think they were the clear favorite to win it all this year and take it all. But UConn, like you said, that right there is exactly what you watch March Madness for. You know,
Yep.
those moments. It's just those. It's those defining moments to where you know that UConn team will forever remember hitting that buzzer beater three to
Yep.
beat Duke in the tournament, knock off the favorite really to win the whole thing. So
Yep.
kudos to them. And UConn, you know, UConn has a rich tradition, man. I mean, both
Oh
men's
yeah.
and women's basketball. So it's really no surprise that they've made it to where they are now. But looking at the Final Four, Mike, you know, number two UConn playing number three Illinois, and then number one Arizona playing number one Michigan. So you've got a battle of the number ones on that side of the bracket. You know, just thinking about what I saw Michigan do to Tennessee. Not saying that Tennessee's the measuring stick or anything like that, but
Yeah.
just watching the physicality that they played with, the size that they have. I, you know, I might actually just say that Michigan wins it all. You know, and that might be an ignorant
Yeah.
guess or an uneducated guess, but I mean, if they, I would imagine if they play the way they played against Tennessee, that they could beat Arizona and maybe even win
Yep.
the whole thing. But you know, who knows? That's just a quick
Yeah.
uneducated guess. I don't know. What do
And
you think, man?
I'd say I don't think it's uneducated at all, man. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that would agree. Um, I do think the winner is going to come from the Michigan and Arizona game. I think those are the two best teams.
Gotcha.
And I think UConn's going to beat Illinois and make it, keep that magic running. And UConn's a great team. I'm not hating on UConn or Illinois. I just think Arizona and Michigan are your two best teams out of those
Yeah.
four there. And I actually think they might have been just in this tournament and how they're playing. Even with Duke, you know, they've had some close games, some moments that some scares, and I just feel like even though Duke beat Michigan earlier in the season, I still feel like Michigan has just been playing better in this tournament. Um, but to give you, here are the scores that Michigan's had in this tournament so
Okay.
far to add to your prediction. Michigan, of course, first game they played Howard, beat them 101 to 80. St. Louis in the second round, 95 to 72. Alabama, that they in the Sweet 16, they beat them 90 to 77, and then Tennessee 95 to 62.
Yeah.
Man, that's not being tested. You
No.
know, I mean, at that point, um, and I think with these, the way they've been playing, I'm going to probably predict Michigan to win it. And I tell you, I was honestly kind of leaning with Arizona at first, and I do think it'll be Arizona or Michigan. I will say that. Arizona's also
Fair.
played great in this tournament as well. So you know, that was kind
Yeah.
of why I was thinking how good they played it. But Michigan has, when I really seen something that broke that down, I was like, Michigan's been playing unreal. And I don't know that
Yeah.
they really have much of a weakness, man. I think that it'll be a good game with those two. but I do think one of those two will win it. But I want to predict Michigan if I had to pick one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Michigan's on a hot run right now. Just looking at some of their recent success from this season alone,
Yeah,
obviously, Final Four appearance. This is their ninth Final Four appearance in program history. They achieved a 19-1 Big Ten record, setting a new conference record for wins this season.
yeah,
So obviously, that's huge. The team set a new record for single wins, surpassing the 2017-18 team, who also made the Final Four. Um, I reckon that was the last time they made the Final Four. Actually, it was in 2018. So they've actually
yeah.
surpassed the records that team set.
Gotcha.
Um, and they just, like you said, man, they've dominated this entire tournament so far. I mean, scoring 90 plus every single game, beating teams by double digits. Whether it's in the teens or the 20s. I mean, they dismantled Tennessee.
Yep.
Uh, like I said, I mean, I think you can make a strong case for. I'm sure you can make a strong case for any of the teams, really, if you got down to the numbers and the science and whatnot. But I think that Michigan team is on a roll. They have been all season, obviously, and
Yep.
I think that they're just playing with a different edge than everyone else, really, from what I can see. Yeah,
Yep. You know what's wild, man, is if Michigan wins this, when the last time the Big Ten won the national championship, and I knew it had been a long time, but I'd heard about it the other day. I just wanted to look it up to make sure. But the last
yeah.
time they won it, Michigan
I
State
don't know.
did it in 2000,
Wow. So it's
and
been
they've
a
had,
while.
yeah, they've played. They've actually Michigan's been in it twice, 2013 and 2018, and lost both times. Um, let's see, Indiana in 2002, Illinois in 2005, Ohio State in '07, Michigan 13, Wisconsin 2015, Michigan in 2018, and then Purdue in 2024 um, lost to UConn. Uh, so they
Gotcha.
have been in it 7 times since 2000, but they've lost all of those. So now this would be the first time the Big Ten has won it since 2000 if Michigan is able to pull it off. It's pretty
Wow.
wild.
That
They
is wild,
definitely,
considering the success that conference has in basketball a lot,
yeah,
Um, yeah, that's wild.
yeah. I mean, it just goes to show. I mean, they do seem to have success because you got Michigan State, who you hear about a lot. A lot of good Illinois teams at our basketball schools, but when it comes to winning the championship, they just have not been able to get it
Right,
done. You
right.
know, which I've always thought that the ACC was always kind of a basketball conference.
Yeah,
The SEC's got better as time has
yep,
went, and so.
yep.
Um, but yeah, this might is it going to be the Big Ten's year? We'll see. How
Yeah,
heartbreaking would
we'll
it be
see.
if Michigan made it? For Big Ten fans, if Michigan made it and then looked to be the favorite and then lost to lost to UConn. It had to be UConn, so instead of Illinois.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that speaking of the Yukon Illinois game, we sat here and kind of
Illinois could do it too.
uh, obviously we pleaded our case for Michigan to win it all, but who do you think that they let's say that they do make it past Arizona. Who do you predict that they face in that final game of the tournament there, Mike?
I think UConn. I think that with the way
Yep.
UConn's just I don't know. I think they're gonna it aligns for them beating Duke the way they did.
Yep.
I'm not saying Illinois can't. That's just who I would pick.
Right.
Um,
Right.
that's why I said I don't. I'm sitting here talking about Michigan. I don't want to hate on Illinois. They definitely could be there as well. So, but that's
Yeah.
just my predictions. Probably UConn. Just more of a gut feeling. I don't have any true
Yeah.
knowledge on that to give a reason.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback on you on that. I'm a firm believer of getting hot at the right time and
Mm,
defining moments, kind of boosting your team as a whole. Going
yeah,
into a game with momentum, coming off a win the
yeah,
way they did against Duke. That stuff can carry you in a tournament setting, tournament
yeah,
style play, majorly. It can carry you
yeah.
majorly. Just sheer momentum.
And the coach that UConn has. Keep in
Yeah.
mind,
Yes.
they won back-to-back championships. I guess it was
Right.
23 and 24. So
Right.
that team's been there. That coach has been there in those big
Yeah.
moments. So that's huge in those. To have a coach like that who has won the championship, who knows what it takes, to keep his team poised um, in those moments. So that is definitely something to consider as well. He's definitely he's a great coach. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I was actually looking that up right now. Well, I looked up who is the winningest current college basketball coach, but it's putting men's and women's in there, and it's obviously UConn's women's coach.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's insane, man.
Yeah, that was a no brainer. I already knew that before looking it up. I was trying to figure out the
Hmm.
men's. I guess it's Rick Barnes. According to this, it's Rick Barnes and then John Calipari, who's now with
Oh wow,
Arkansas. So, wow,
wow.
nice.
Man, how about him turning it around that Arkansas already and doing well there
Well, I
since he left
mean,
Kentucky? I'm not
I don't think it's a
surprised.
bit. Yeah, it's no surprise. I mean,
Yeah,
if you can coach ball, you can coach ball. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And it's obviously he's got the formula down pat, and it just goes to show you that if you've got a strong culture and
yeah.
people buy into what you're selling them as far as implementing a new system at a new program, you can find success, man. And that's
Oh yeah,
obviously that's a testament to it right there.
yeah, for sure, man. For sure. We'll see. Kentucky might regret one day letting him go.
Well, they probably already do.
Probably. Probably
They
so.
definitely probably already
Well,
do, man. Yeah, but as far as the tournament goes, be excited to watch the final
yeah,
four there and see if our predictions are correct, Mike. You know, who knows?
yeah, sure, man. And if anybody's watching, still, first off, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, help us out. But let
Yep,
us know, comment who you think's going to win the championship. What's your prediction? Who are the two teams that's going to be in it, and who do you think's going to win it?
yep. Yeah. Also, tell us how quickly your bracket got busted. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
who did you have winning it all? You know what I mean?
as usual, didn't take very long for me. So,
Yep. Oh yeah, me either, man. I'm not even going to disclose who I had winning it all. They went out pretty early. I'll just say that. But
I,
I'm just be honest
it
with you,
happens.
Mike. Be honest with you, this is fun and everything, but I'd be lying to our fans right now if I didn't say I am ready to get into some heavy college football talk.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, this isn't. I always love March Madness. I
One
love,
hundred
and it's
percent.
funny. I love basketball. I love actually playing basketball. Um, but I'm like you. I enjoy it, and then I enjoy those big moments that it brings, because it does give you that, amped up kind of feeling in a big moment.
Oh yeah,
But at the same time, I'll take a college Saturday, man.
one hundred
College football
percent.
Saturday. So
One hundred
absolutely.
percent, man.
Well, Adam, do you have anything else you want to add in on this, man?
No, I just want to say thanks to everyone that's continued to follow us. I know we say that every week, but truly we do appreciate it.
Yeah,
Continuing to try to grow the channel and reach more people, get more subscribers.
yeah,
It's just a goal of ours, and we started this thing, and we don't plan on stopping. So, whether you
yeah,
like us or not, if you have subscribed, you're going to continue to see our stuff in your
yeah,
algorithm,
yeah.
hopefully. And uh, we're going to ramp things up in 2026. Man, super excited to see what Tennessee does this year. Can't wait for that one episode where we actually dive into the schedule and do a schedule prediction. That's always really,
Yeah.
really fun to do. Looking forward to it, man. Hopefully, we'll have some more spring practice information coming soon. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in every week. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, Adam, man, as usual, it's been fun, man. And I'll see you.
All right, brother. Take care, man.